So I mentioned in one of my recent videos as I was talking about the Texas Receptus that one time when I was talking about the Texas Receptus in church and I was giving a lesson about this, someone in the congregation misunderstood me and they raised their hand and they said, what are you talking about when you say the Texas Receptus? And so they thought I was saying Texas Receptus, which you got to admit that's a pretty confusing thing. Why all of a sudden when we're talking about Bible translation are we talking about Texas? So Textus Receptus is the received text, historically speaking, from the 1500s that was put together from different manuscripts. But the Texas Receptus I thought would be a great idea for a new Bible. And I actually presented this years ago when there was that confusion about what I was talking about. And I came up with this idea. And someone in the comments actually mentioned something about wishing there was a Texas Receptus. So good news, I've come up with an idea for the Texas Receptus, not to be confused with the Textus Receptus, the Latin phrase. The Texas Receptus is what I call the Lone Star Bible. It'll be at least 50% bigger than any other Bible that's out there on the market. And in order to produce this, we want to get a translation committee of Texans, of course. You can't have a Texas Receptus if you don't have the right people producing it. So we're going to get Texans to do that. And what I love about this Texas Receptus is that it accurately conveys Texan colloquialisms. You know, if you're going to have a Texas Receptus, it's got to portray the wording and the phrasing of actual Texans. So I think there are some really great opportunities here for a unique Bible translation. And, I think there could be some accuracy here that you don't always get in typical English translations. So let me just show you here. The plural you in the Greek will actually be reflected with y'all, which is great because so many Bibles today in English, they don't have a way to reflect the Greek plural for you. But we know that Texans do have a way of doing that, and that's by saying y'all. So great feature there in the Texas Receptus. So in the Bible where it says in Romans 16:16, greet one another with a holy kiss, of course we have to use a Texan colloquialism here, so we will say howdy to one another with a holy bear hug. And one more example here. The Bible says all who draw the sword will die by the sword. In the Texas Receptus, it will read, all who draw the six-shooter will die by the six-shooter. So, if you're going to have a translation that reflects the Texan culture, you got to do it right. And I think these are at least a starting point for an idea for the Texas Receptus. So if you have any other ideas to make this translation idea even better, I would love to hear your ideas in the comments. Feel free to leave them. Anyway, that's just something I wanted to share with you as a little bit of fun, talking about Bible translations. Remember, the Textus Receptus is a Latin phrase talking about the received text, and the Texas Receptus isn't a real thing. However, maybe we could make it a thing, a Texan Bible translation. Thank you for listening to my thoughts, brought to you from a fresh perspective.